Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I have waited all winter to say this. And, well, summer for you Australians. We are getting to the end of the Summer Cup. It's been a hell of a ride here. And now we are down to 3 teams here. We're at the lower bracket finals with Gossip Girl and Smug. The winner of this game goes on to face Jasmine T in the grand finals. And I wouldn't want anyone else here with me as a co-caster, except for Smithsonian. How are you doing, Smith?
Pretty good, pretty good. Yeah, just gotta watch that summer winter cup thing. I mean, people always get confused when we are in the middle of summer and running the winter cup. This is one of the first times we've had an actual, season appropriate summer cup. So that's really nice. But yeah, you just kind of gotta watch it. I know for you it's a bit different on the other side of the world and all. But all these Aussies at home kind of going, what? That ain't right.
Well, hey, other side of the world, I don't care. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited too.
It's gonna be amazing, and just to think, we had a whole Swiss bracket qualifier for this that we went through. I made my whole ozfortress casting debut there, and for the past month and a little bit now, we finally worked our way all the way through. We've seen a hell of a bunch of great games here.
Yeah.
I think the best is actually yet to come. I think we are getting ready for what could be some of the best games of TF2 I might have ever casted.
Well, I mean, this is one of the first doubleheaders in ages that I can think of. We very, very rarely have them, max one big game a night. So having 2 games with, absolute top-level Australian TF2 one after the other is such a rare treat for us. I'm really excited.
Oh, believe me, I'm supposed to work in 10 hours. I plan on pulling an all-nighter just so that I can stay up and watch these matches, live and just get in on this full hype. I'll be in Twitch chat after this, as we will hand. I believe the next set of casters are Fozzie and who the other one is?
And Tonberry.
Tonberry and Foz. I'm excited to hand it over to them when we get there. But before we get there, for the best of 5 final, you have to get to a full best of 3 between these 2 teams.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
give me your rundown of these guys.
Yeah, sure thing. Yeah, Smug and Gossip Girl. Gossip Girl rated second best team probably right now. Really strong, especially right now. They've had a little bit of a roster shake-up because Darbs isn't available. I know Yuki had joined the team for the Summer Cup, was going to take the place of Sam because he has night classes. Sam is available tonight and Darbs isn't, so Yuki's going to be playing the med, and we'll have Sam back on scout with his partner Yui. So a little bit of a shake-up, but still absolutely a very, very strong team. Yuki, you can play any class, that's no real big deal. But we got the scouts, Sam and Yui, Nat on Roma, Jersh on Pocket, Yule on Demo. Really strong lineup. All those players have fantastic DM. They're fairly well coordinated as well. It should be really good. And then on the other side, Smug, you've got. Do you want to take us through that one?
No, go ahead. You're on such a roll here, right, and I'm loving it.
Well, we got Well, Cookie on Scout. The other Scout is I don't know if it's decided yet. They've been trying to get a replacement for their previous Scout. I actually can't quite remember who that was supposed to be, but they had one of 3, Faithless, Jiho, or Cole, coming in tonight, but I believe I read that Faithless wasn't actually available, so they're still, I think, sorting that out. We'll wait until they join the server to figure that out, but otherwise, you got Cookie, very strong scout, very strong sniper as well, Rand Sibling on Roma, Render on Pocket, Oni on Demo, and Ferrila on Med, so a really nice mix of experienced players and kind of, I'm not going to say fresh blood, like Oni and Cookie and that have been around for long enough that you can't really call them fresh blood anymore. When you compare them to people like Render and Ferrisar, the difference in experience and in time played, you can't really deny. But regardless, still very strong on their respective classes. Lots of good DM as well. So really hoping for a good game tonight.
Yeah, no kidding. Some of these guys have been around for a long time. I mean, I think in this game we have probably the most recognizable name in all of Australian TF2. If you took someone from anywhere in the entirety of TF2 and asked them to name one Australian player, they're probably going to name you Yuki. So the fact that, we have a guy who was attending international LANs before I even started playing TF2 just speaks of, the the experience that some of these players have, because Yuki's not the only one who was around from back then. There are a few of them.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, as you said, lots of experience. We are seeing first map ban, that is Gossip Girl banning out Sunshine. Now, the last time these two teams played, Gossip Girl took it in 2 maps. 7-2 on Badlands for Gossip Girl, really strong showing. Smug had a couple of good rounds, but nothing too great. But on Sunshine, it was a 4-3 with Gossip Girl winning in golden cap. So I'm really not surprised to see them taking that out of the map pool. And Badlands is gone as well. So both maps from the last time they played are gone.
They
picked gravel. Oh, we see gravel tonight.
Is that actually a pick that is a legal pick here? Can we get a Brodogs ruling on this?
I was really excited for a second.
Oh my god, even the players are trolling us.
I was actually so excited. I played a gravel hit pug a couple nights ago for the first time in a million years. I had so much fun. I was so hyped to see gravel pit again. Got my hopes up there, guys. That was a little bit rude. And is that
out of left field? We have a Metalworks pick following up the gravel pit.
Okay, I thought that was I saw that and I just assumed it was a follow-up joke. I really did. But if that's actually happening,
I'm happy.
No, yeah, okay. No,
oh my
yeah,
god!
Okay, I figure I didn't comment on that because I really did think that was a bit of a joke. So, but I mean, look. The admins could actually, yeah, like they did say pick Metalworks, and I mean that's pretty undeniably like if you say that in chat, it's a bit hard to kind of be like nah, I changed my mind. So yeah, I think the admins are forcing it. We are seeing Metalworks tonight.
I love it. Oh, this is great.
This is amazing.
My emotions have already been played with all over the board here, and we haven't even started the map. Like, we're not in map 1, and I've been trolled, I've been laughing, I've been scared, I've been crying. I'm a little bit tilted here. I'm not really sure, but yeah, still Metalworks map 1.
I am, and Process is the pick for Smug. So yeah, I want to analyze the map picks, but there's really not much to say when it's Metalworks. You can't really talk about what the teams are going to do because no one plays Metalworks. This is going to be pretty much uncharted. I don't think Metalworks has been picked this tournament yet.
It got picked once, and it was picked as the deciding map in a best of 3 that I casted. We did not get to the 3rd map. It was a 2-0. So it has been picked once as a YOLO pick that neither team needed.
This is actually amazing. This is happening. We're seeing Metalworks first. There's not much to say other than neither of these teams will really have any set strategies. No one scrims Metalworks, no one plays Metalworks. So what we will see tonight will be extraordinarily new ground for Australian TF2 right now. I mean, it was played one season a long time ago. I believe that was around Owl 8. And that was obviously a much earlier version as well. So it's technically been played before, but you can't really base on that. And Viaduct for a 3rd map. So that's a solid bit of variety. We've got Metalworks, Process, and Viaduct. I don't think the players are particularly happy about the Metalworks, but
I am thrilled. And I do see that we have a couple North Americans names I recognize in chat here tuning in. This is also a bit of a preview, I guess, because we do have Metalworks Week for ESEA coming up beginning of March, I believe. My team has March 8th and 10th as our Metalworks maps, so it's coming. But we get to experience it now, in the moment, in the ozfortress Summer Cup.
I couldn't really have asked for a better, I honestly, if I could have asked for any map, I would have asked for G-Pit, and we nearly got that with the joke map pick. Would have been nice, but I'm ecstatic. I'm so happy to see Metalworks being played. I expect to see off classes galore. People just kind of not really, pulling out the heavy, pulling out the pyro, sniping, whatever they can do to just kind of mess up the other team because neither team's going to have a really set idea as to how to play it. I mean, it'll probably genuinely come down to which team watches more American games because it's not played in Europe, it's not played here. The only place you're going to get any real idea as to how it's played at a top level is watching those American games. And so it's either you've watched the games or you're kind of coming in somewhat blind.
I'm not saying that it's high level, but I do have a soft spot in my heart for Metalworks because the first ESEA match that I won was on Metalworks. So I love this map, even though, in North America, at least, there's been quite a debate over it. Some people say that it's the worst map in the rotation. I can definitely see why they complain that. From my experience, there's really only one viable way to push, which is going all the way to Valley. The choke, like the transition from mid to second isn't good. And then last, if you've ever watched Pizzagon, which is an IM team, which I've pointed out a few times in these casts from a couple seasons ago, they would put an engineer, heavy, and sniper on last, and you're looking at long stalemates. And it was just, it's a very difficult last to push when you put that much off-classing out there. I'm hoping we don't have the stalemate, and we have what actually turned into one of the best games I've ever casted. Pizzagon played Getaway Elf Fan Club to a 5-4 overtime on this. I'm hoping that's where we go with this one, because I want to pack as much great TF2 action as we can, but it definitely can lead to some of those stalemates.
Yeah, look, I'm hoping it doesn't come down to that. I guess one of the good things about the European rule set is if it's a really stalematy kind of map, it's only going to be half an hour. You don't have the halves, and you've got the mercy rule. So if it's really stalematy, suck it 3-2 for the longest time. It's only going to be half an hour, so that's a plus. Obviously, it does also encourage those stalemates, just because of the wanting to draw out the time, park the bus, etc. But hopefully that won't be an issue. Hopefully we won't see that. I'm aware, obviously, yes, that there are definitely issues with this map, and that is why no one really enjoys to play it. But I'm hoping that just because it's not played, those issues won't come out to play as much as in other leagues. But yeah, defending last could definitely be a bit of an issue. Pushing in without the experience of trying to push into it in scrims or other match play, it could be quite difficult for each of these teams to be able to find an opening.
Now, with teams not knowing a map, I'm kind of curious to see if we have any real innovators calling on either of these teams. What I mean by that is, it's being played in North America for a while. They kind of have the defined meta going of where you push, how you do things. I'm kind of curious to see if we see anything unexpected here. If we see a weird, push route, weird off classes, maybe odd timing, different placement of something, or whether we're gonna see a fairly cookie cutter. And oh my goodness, was that regarding the Jersh getting destroyed?
No, I'm just referring to the chat, realizing that these players were they really were not expecting to play this tonight. Half of them don't even have the map downloaded. So
oh, that explains it.
So I was kind of wondering why. Look, I've got a pretty crappy laptop that I'm on, and it takes me a while to load in. And I kind of thought, there's only been 6 players in the server for a while. Surely they're not slower than me. No, that explains it. Yeah. But I mean, we've got what 8 in, 9 in now. No, 8. So it should be coming relatively soon. I would think most of these players. It's not a huge map download. They should be fairly quick to get in from now on. And I'd be thinking fairly quick to start. They might have to go over just as a team in the warm-up. Alright, what's this bit? How do you do the rollouts? Okay, we're good to go. And then they probably want to get it over and done with as soon as possible, is my guess.
And, to fill a little spot here, I'm sure people want to hear, the full, admin call out on why we're playing Metalworks. And I do see that we have Big Kenny here, and I'm not talking about Kenny S, I'm talking about Kenneth. That would be the admin. I see him in Mumble. How you doing, Kenneth?
I'm just enforcing the rule set. I don't know what everyone's all up in arms about.
Are you excited for Metalworks? Are you?
A little bit. I mean, it's only been picked once up until now, and that was for a decider, and I think it was a bit of a meme because both teams sort of knew that it would be 2 maps anyway. And we are seeing it. I mean, it was a legitimate pick. It's not like any map would have had the same treatment, but it's interesting to see Metalworks for sure.
Yeah, so just for future reference, anyone watching, maybe, got your league games coming up, don't just, if you want a meme about map picks, make sure you it's really a really obvious meme. If you just say pick X map, it will be taken seriously. If you say
Yeah.
haha, like epic, Badlands, totes, lol JK, then probably not as much.
Now, Kenneth, while I have you here, we saw something before the Metalworks pick, which I really just want to like take my time and while I have your attention, and I've got chat to support me on this, and I got Smiths to do it too. Just lobbying that for the next, cup, summer cup-esque thing, or next season's map rotation. G-Pit?
That's gonna happen. Never.
Yeah, there is a lot of resistance, especially from those top level players, and I do understand the resistance. I really do. When it kind of got removed, it was getting stale at the top level. I understand the resistance, but as a spectator, goddamn, I really miss watching G-Pit.
So just step back a sec, because like G-Pit, like cool, whatever. It was a map. We played it for a while. Now it's not played anymore. There's this like weird resurgence thing which was happening in Europe. I mean, I'm interested to see what happens with that experiment, but we've classically been a bit more conservative when it comes to weapon bans and stuff like that. So it's not something that I want to trial in a league.
But
Fair enough.
Would you consider it for like one of the short cups, like say a Razor Cup or
Oh,
something
I mean,
like that?
we've actually considered a cup which is entirely sort of a nostalgia throwback cup, which would include things like Pro Dust Bowl and
This would be seeing some
Yukon, all
Yes.
those maps which we just haven't seen forever. But I mean,
Can this please happen? Like, please?
it'd be very cool. Follower Brodogs is saying follower needs to be in there. It can happen, but it's like we want to focus on our primary competitions at the moment, and our turnaround for Owl at the moment is pretty quick. We want to focus on that. So honestly, it's going to take the backseat compared to any sort of primary tournament. But hey, we have a couple new admins on the team. We might have some time to put in to make that sort of thing happen.
And you'll absolutely have two very excited casters for that. Don't you worry.
Oh yes, I love old maps. I mean, who doesn't? It's the nostalgia. It's the entertainment of seeing teams confused as they, think something's a good idea, only to find out that you can't do it on that map.
Yeah.
It's great.
I think
But
everyone
that's-
enjoys old maps except for the people actually playing them. Let's be
Yeah.
realistic.
Well, if you come in with the right attitude, I think you can make a bit of fun out of
you
it.
can. You absolutely can.
But it looks like you guys are going live, so I'll leave it up to you. Have fun for the night.
All right, there you hear it. That is a little look into the future of ozfortress, and now we're into the part where people try and figure out how to roll out on this map because some of them have never done it before. And we are going towards this first mid, and both demos are very slow, but their health isn't that bad. They're throwing out some spam here. We're just having the first mid. Rangy Pipes actually connecting with the scout here, and now the jumps are starting to come forward. There's a big window bomb getting denied, and Render is the first casualty here. You'll just getting a nice little finish off there, and now there's starting to be some of the chaos. The scouts going in here. Sam taken out, but Zico very hurt. Rand Sibling, Prodigal. It's sadly Yuki taking out Cookie with a crossbow. This will be mid one to Lesser Girl.
Ferrisar actually gets an Uber. I was about to say Josh was onto Ferrisar, probably going to kill him. Ferrisar actually picks up the Uber Saw and is running away with that full Uber charge, so he should be able to hold on to last there. That's a big play from him.
And we actually see Zico going way in there, and he gets taken out there too by Yui. He got all the way into that lobby area, but that doesn't really matter. And
that was a bit
now we're going to see
unnecessary.
Smug start to throw up a hold here on second. He can do it. And Yuki's smart enough to know that the Valley push is where you want to go. He's watched enough ESEA matches or played this map enough more likely to remember that that is the case. And they are starting to take space in Valley here. Yule's throwing out some stickies. Render's nice and close. Launches Jersh way up. But Jersh somehow lives in Render. Taken out by Yule. Nice little pipe coming out there. So we should see the push start to flow in here. They have that pick advantage. They're just starting to work in. Just throwing stickies at this point here, doing some damage. And now we're starting to see the team funnel in. Rem Sibling is very hurt here, and he could get dropped here. They're not killing. Now he's taken out, and Farrell drops the Yui.
Oh no! That is massive, and Cookies on the med can't get enough damage onto him, and a bomb?
But Yuki drops the Yui.
He did! It was the pipe! Oh my god, Oni, that's massive. They might actually be able to defend this as well. They've got some players around. Zico is doing a fair bit of work. Picks up 2. Josh and Sam going down.
Nat is in there, but his health's not great. Oh, he picks off 2 of them. Really good play there, but he's at 50. Yule's at 9. Yule grabs a pack. So they will be able to get this second, but unbelievable pipes game in there, and actually cap, and now Nat taken out. And Yule down 2. And the scout is there. He should die. No, you might actually escape there. He manages to get out with his life. But man, those meds dropping like flies, dude.
Yeah. I just want to say it was very gentlemanly play from both teams. They just took a long time trying to just bully the other one out. No real commitment, no big bombs. Just kind of standing their ground and seeing which team can do the most damage before committing.
And Jersh going down there too. It looks like Smug's trying to repush us out of that lower area. They're bombing towards the point here. Yuki's just juking around. He's got a scout getting rendered. Nat goes down on the other side to Zico though. So they will give up this mid for now, especially with Sam getting taken out. But they should be able to hold on to second as they're just going to retreat here and, you know, not play anything too hard as they are at a slight uber disadvantage.
Yeah, it's looking pretty good right now for the Smug side. They should be able to... Well, the spawns are coming out now for Gossip Girls. They should be there in time to defend. And actually, we got some aggressive soldier jump from Rand Sibling here.
And
should be able to
that
do some
is...
work.
They are working through Valley. Zico's actually fairly hard in through that choke area, but the spam's coming back, and now they're actually getting a little bit of pressure here out of Yuki and his soldier, Jersh. Jersh launches Rand Sibling, and there's a pick, too. That means that they're just going to start to move forward a little bit. They're eating some spam here, but Jersh getting in. They force the Uber out here. And now the exchange is coming down here. It looks to be, you know, a non-really beneficial exchange for anybody, but now with Yule coming in here, they are actually forcing their way into Valley. That is Gossip Girl. They're working forward. Yui actually goes down really early there, and it looks like Sam is going to get caught too, so no scouts here. Cookie taken out by Jersh, but that is not optimal when you're pushing, not especially with Zico in behind here. He's getting right in. What a rocket! 2 rockets from Jersh. Great rockets out of him.
Oh, we actually got a bomb coming in over top onto the med. Rand Sibling trying to go for some damage. Can't finish him off. Yule picking up that kill. It was I was really quite surprised to see Gossip Girl lose that fight. They got so much ground and had so much aggressive work on the scouts, but there was no soldier follow-up. It didn't really get them anything done. They just kind of need to be a bit more aggressive and commit a bit more to that push.
And speaking of being a little bit aggressive and trying to commit to a push, that looks like that's what Render's trying to do, is he walks right into the push, gets taken out there quickly here. You going down on the other side, but the bomb's coming in. That's going to be Zico down. Yule might get caught, but no, Sam saves him from Cookie, and they force the Uber. Nat taken out by Oni, but this is very good for Gossip Girl, as they're just buying time here for Yuki to live in. They take out Rand Sibling to end it. The medic will escape. That is Farala, but there's full Uber in Yuki's hands now. And just 3 men up to defend that last. Although they got to cap that second. Now they got a couple forward spawns. So because they weren't getting on that cap, they shouldn't have an advantage to push in here aside from that Uber advantage.
I just want to point out
Uber
Cookie's on
advantage.
Sniper. There he is!
Gets
He
him!
gets him! Oh my god! Cookie, massive, massive play. As I say it, gets the full drop onto Yuki. Jesus Christ.
My lord, Cookie's a monster getting that pick there, just on the slightest of cracks, and Jersh goes flying in there, can't pick up Farala, but Farala drops down right onto Sam. Sam, can he get him? It's so low, 10 HP!
Oh my god.
Oh my lord.
This
Nat
is
is
ridiculous.
actually over, might try and get something. Oh, he gets sniped down. He threw a spam rocket that might have actually done something there, but gee, Cookie doing work.
Yeah, things are looking really good for Smug right now. They've got that full Uber. Spawns are going to be there in time for Gossip Girl, but a full Uber charge moving into second should be pretty good for them. Cookie is on Sniper, so until he does hit a shot, they are technically pushing 5v6, but Cookie is a really good sniper. I wouldn't be surprised to see him get a pick or 2 in this push.
And now the bomb's coming in there. Render taking out really early there. And now Sam is actually all alone on Oni, so the demo man will kill his scout. Okay, that works too. And now the picks are going down here. Jersh and Yui get 2, though. That is Jaiho and Sibling down. So this is looking decent here, but with Cookie alive, you can never be too careful, and that's exactly what the demo's doing, taking the matters into his own hand, going for a bomb, and now Yui comes in to clean up Cookie, and now it's a scout on a demo and medic. I'm expecting Yui to win this here, as Farala taken out and Oni down 2. Good play there out of the scout, and now mid and that Uber advantage in the hands of
Yeah, Smug's Uber push there just really wasn't as effective as it should have been. They put their scout in really early, and he got separated from the combo and died. When you've got that sniper, losing your scout early is absolutely devastating. There was no cleanup, and so they just basically lost it off that.
Oh no, leg. Sorry. As Jiho goes down again, but Sam and Nat taken up by Render with one rock. It's taken out in the end. But that is very good. And now the Uber's popped out here. They pick off Ram Sibling. They pick off Cookie. And they might still roll through here as Farrell is not up on his yet. It's just a medic and demo. They have the point. They can just roll in here. A couple spawns are coming up, but they are still rolling nonetheless. And we might see our first point cap, but Jersh taking up very early here. And now the Scout U is getting very, very destroyed there. And Oni takes out Yule with a snipe as well. That would be a sticky snipe, that is. And that's a very good hold there. I think they were a little bit too slow in terms of Gossip Girl moving out there. And now Smug will work back and cap that second.
Yeah, look, Gossip Girl absolutely had the chance. They just waited a bit too long. We got some aggression coming in, as I say that, and that going down to Render. That was really nice push into that lobby area from him. And that should actually give him enough of an advantage to keep moving forward, especially with the supercharge they've got.
Yeah, they've got that Uber advantage there, working in through this valley area here. They're starting to move forward. Jumps are coming up, but they get denied. That was a pipe over the top that cranked Render in the face. So that means that Yuki will manage to get out here safely. He'll come up on that Uber, and it looks like they might want to try and move in with that. They do. They solo that Uber right onto the point here. There's so many people. He earshots Cookie. And now the Ubers come out the other way. And not taken out still. This is looking very good for Gossip Girl as they have, you know, the more important pick as the scout there as opposed to the soldier. And now they are still fighting this here. Yui gets 2. That's Render and Jiho going down. Jersh, the only one going down the other way. So this should be another hold. And Yui picks off Ran Sibling. He might get Oni here too. No, that's Sam stealing that one.
He's on Farrell.
Yui's on Farrell. And he gets Sticky State too. So the last 2 kills to make that a 5K for Yui. Just stolen away by his team. But Sam picks up another one there too. So that's 5 scout kills. And a lot more damage between the 2 of them. Which means the rolling forward is coming in here. Jiho is on Engineer. He elects to actually go off Engineer because he realizes he can't get a gun up in time. Yuki is up on big Uber advantage too. You get Ran Sibling with a trap. This is not looking good if you're a Smug fan. As, you know, pick advantage. Cookie is sniping. We saw him get a drop here, but no drops coming in here as the pop is out very early. They get right in on Farrell and the soldier Renders, and they take both of them out. So no soldiers here. Cookie's very hurt. So is Farrell. This cap will go down.
Yeah.
Round 1.
Really nice push in there from Gossip Girl. They just executed that really well. They know they had that Uber advantage. They got a player advantage as well, you know, killing Ran Sibling with that sticky traps. They just forced their way in, pincer move, like pincer aggression, forced the entire enemy team behind that backup point area, and just managed to cap really easily. Really nice push.
Absolutely, and now we're gonna see, you know, the first mid here. You know, he was a little bit faster there. He's actually gonna hit Oni with a fat sticky to say hello for being slow. And now we got the fight coming in here. Bombs aren't going too far. Jersh is just playing around his crate. Ender's on the other one here, so they're just kind of spamming around. But Yule's very hurt. But Ran Sibling and Cookie down there. Nice pipe from Yule.
Oh,
Yule getting another one. That's Farrell. Jiho going down to Yui. He picked up 2 more here, and now it's just Oni who gets levitated.
That was absolute destruction there from Gossip Girl. That was an entirely different team to what we saw last round. They were just so coordinated. Scouts and soldiers and demos all doing exactly what they needed to do. So much cleanup work, so much strong aggression coming out that mid. Just really, really nice.
They should just be able to get set to roll in here. Cookie peeking aggressively, taken up by Jerk. She's not going to get the drop this time. Yuki was probably well aware of that sniper too, and now the pop is coming out here. There is a sentry gun. It's only a level 1. It should get spammed down, except all the spam missed. They finally get it out. But now the Uber is not that effective. They only have the 1 pick, and they need to do a lot of work here on the post Uber. They pick up Render. That's going to help. And they actually just cap the point.
Well, I mean, you can't really move around that corner in time when you've got a heavy, a medic, and I think it was a soldier just coming out of spawn. They just didn't have the plays there to stop the point. I mean, it's all good and great if you can avoid the Uber, but if you're not in a position to stop the point, what are you going to do?
Yeah, really, there's not a lot you can do, because they're just going to do that. They cap the point and win the round. And Yule looks to be about the same time as Oni this time, misses his opening sticky. And he actually eats one himself, Oni, in the trade back sticky. So big bombs though coming out here, Nat and Render getting right in there. Somehow Farrell lives. No, Jersh landed right beside him, but Nat and Sam could go down. Jersh gets another one, Zika, but Yule down as well.
Yuki.
So this is looking like a smug, but
Surely Yuki won't live. Yuki, he's living! He's on 19 HP. He was chased by a soldier and chased by a demo. He surfed the first rocket, avoided the second, and dodged the sticky from the demo, all managing to live on like 19 HP. That was crazy from him, because now he's still got a Zuba. Ferrisar died that fight.
Hold on. Farala is on... Oh, never mind. He changed. I got really excited. I saw the Kritzkrieg logo, and I'm like, yes, he's doing it! But he didn't do it.
That's a bit of a shame, but yeah, look, they've got the sniper. They know they've got a massive Uber disadvantage. They're just going to be looking to hold up here on mid, try to quell the push, force the Uber early. There's a headshot goes out onto Jersh really early. That's going to slow down the Gossip Girl side for now. They are looking to push in.
With a nice headshot. He's very hurt here, and Yui just rolls in there, picks him up, and render down to as this Uber's popped out. Looking good for Gossip Girl. Smug, though, still keep Farala alive, which means that the Uber advantage is back here. Jersh going right in there, and he gets wiped down quickly, but Yule's just walked in and thrown some spam around. And he picks up Rand Sibling very quickly here, so this push is going to continue. There's a soldier underneath. That's Nat taking out. Yule's very deep in here. Yuki, too. Render actually beefs the drop-down jump. If he'd done that, that would have been, you know, a drop on the med, maybe. Or not a drop, but a kill, at least.
Would have been really, really effective.
Yes. Thank you. That's the word I'm looking for. It would have been effective, but, you know, speaking of effective, they do manage to effectively cap mid here as they move forward, but a little bit of the pressure is coming back, and if Render's not careful, he might... Oh, they pop here.
Wow.
And they pick up Nat and Jersh, and they can actually get a free Yuki here, maybe, if Yuki's not going to juke like a madman. No, he is taken out. And this is looking very good. Smug
too.
rolling through here. Jaiho picks up another one, too. He's still alive. And Yui taking out two. This is very good.
Yeah, that was so good. The timing was perfect. Yuki died on 97%. If they hadn't gotten that kill when they did, it would have been absolutely disastrous. On Yule with a huge air shot on the render. That was massive. That was he was probably going to die if he didn't hit that air shot. So that is really, really nice.
What was that air shot? I don't even know. What? I'm in lobby and I just see like the outline of this demo go sky high and then disappear. And I'm like, damn. But speaking of damn, this push is coming in here. There's Oni way up there. They don't go for the hero air shot, but they do drop Church on this push out. Not the most useful thing, but they will cap here. Ooh. And they actually drop Sam too. Now 2 down. If, you know, even though they're at an Uber disadvantage, or even at an Uber disadvantage too, which means that they're just gonna roll in here. The Uber's popped out, but they don't get it. Wow. Now they get Yui in that, and now just Yule and are trying to escape here, and they actually take Yule out, so it's just Jersh and Yuki. Bomb is right in there, right on Yuki. He's beefing all the rocket whiffs. But Cookie is there. Cookie is there.
No, Yuki, he lived!
He grabbed the resupply.
Oh my god, that's like the 3rd time I've seen him live on like sub 10 HP. That's insane. The rocket whiffs and the scout whiffs. Well, I mean, the scouts didn't quite whiff. They did a lot of damage to him.
Now Yuki, since he lived, actually has this Uber, which means that, you know, Oni goes down here. Farala is all alone. And Winger whiffs? Please?
Whiffs? More whiffs? No, surely not.
Yuki crossbows his scout. Like,
oh my god! How are these medics living? I don't understand how these medics are living so constantly.
Hold on. Let me just take my headphones off, walk away here, and maybe I'll understand what's happening as they push back in here. Throw some rockets around. I am stumped at how much beefing is going in here.
It's honestly insane. We do have Ferrisar moving in with 100% Uber. They should be able to, I would like to think, successfully push this time, knowing that the med is alive with Uber.
I mean, you hope that's the case. And that looks like the Uber is coming out here. And they're capping the point. Nobody's dealing with Rand Sibling. Now they bait them all the way onto the point. This should be winnable, but the frags are not going their way. And you actually spawns it behind. It's just parallel.
No.
Oh my goodness.
Not again.
Hold on, Jaiho.
Jaiho could do this.
In left. He's got this. They're not check. They don't check. They don't check left.
No, go for the back cap. Oh, he would have had it. He 100% would have had that back cap. He went for the medic. He picks up Jersh. I mean, look at that's a nice frag. You're picking up the enemy pocket, but that's not enough. They've got fully, but they're going to push straight into you. Doesn't matter. You need to go for that hero play. Oh, that is so disappointing.
I mean, you see the opportunity on the med. You think, well, back caps don't usually work out, so we'll do that. But speaking of back caps, we actually have the combo back capping.
Oh my god, this could work.
They went for the lobby wrap. However, they are all just up on that point, and with people on both sides, they should not work as they're going to get pinched here. And that's what's happening. Render and Ram sibling down. Yule, the only casualty. The other way, Yui gets the 3 rune on the Farala, and that's the white.
If they'd stacked that point, if they stayed on that point, I reckon they would have all died, absolutely. But they might have picked up the cap. They just kind of instead tried to dodge damage, got off the point, didn't get the cap, all died anyway. And now they're really looking down the barrel. I mean, this was a mid-fight, no, a midpoint one. Yuki's got Uber. They do have Cookie on Sniper, so if he can get an early pick, this might work out for them. But it's really going to be a tough hold now for the Smug guys.
That is the case as they're moving forward. Uber's popped out. Whoa! Holy launch, Jersh, and he actually lands in a great position and does damage. He's still alive here. Jaiho cannot get Yuki, but Farala will escape, which means that the dream of the hold is still alive and well here. Spawn on Cookie should be coming up, and there it's actually the push coming right in here. They're not going to try and let Farala get it, and he won't because he's taking out Yuki, gets ran sampling, and Yuki gets
another one!
Yuki!
Can he get another one? He does! The third crossbow on the Cookie! Oh my god! Jesus, like I thought, you know, okay, he's on medic, it's not a combat class. Look, Yuki, he's obviously an incredible combat class player, but he'll be strong on med, you know, he's got enough knowledge. It doesn't, he's just playing a combat class anyway, just picks up 3 frags on the last push.
You know, I'll be honest, I think he took notes from Harblue after I-52. He saw it happen to him, and now he knows how to deal it out.
Please don't bring that up again, that is...
As we get into this first round, let's watch. I mean, Yuki's inevitably going to get like another 6 kills here because that's just Yuki thing. But they're doing work here on this mid. Yule, the first casualty. Now Nat down 2, the Render going the other way. So this is actually looking like another smug mid here. Looking very good. However, Yuki will live. He's got Yui with him. And, you know, I think if anyone tries to kill Yuki, he's going to frag him this time.
Yeah, that was really nice mid. Oh, they're actually just rolling through with this. It's really, really good work from Smug there. Their scouts are just really nice clean up work on the mid. Pushing through perfectly, knowing they have the player advantage, taking the point as they need to. This is looking pretty good for them. Yuki did live. Oh, he's enforced? No? He just accidentally right-clicked, I think. Yeah, he did.
Hey!
That's I mean, I don't think Smug knows this. Smug has no idea what just happened.
Just Overwatch things is like, do you press mouse 2 to heal people in Overwatch?
That's
maybe
actually
that's what
entirely.
he's thinking?
I don't know. I really don't.
I don't play Overwatch. I didn't get in the beta, but Yui down here, and now with this big Uber advantage that I don't think they realize that they have, is gonna lead to a push here. They should actually just pop this because Yuki doesn't have. They actually pick off Nat 2. Ran simply going down the other side, and they do pop it. And this is like Yuki's worst nightmare here. Is they're just gonna roll in here, and he still hasn't popped because he can't. They must be thinking, why is he milking?
I mean, they had no vision of the other team. They had no idea. So Smug played that as you would, knowing that they had an Uber advantage. They got a player advantage. They decided to push him with it, try to pressure the medic. They had no clue Yuki didn't have anything, so it should have been really just the easiest push of all time. It worked out for them. Yeah, that was just... I can't say what happened there. Yuki just with a royal screw up there.
So we've seen the best of Yuki and the worst of Yuki in the span of a round. And we'll see what Yuki we get on mid here too as mid fight going down. Nat getting juggled nicely by Oni, but he's so hurt here, way out of the fight. Farala is keeping him alive, but Jaiho down. Jersh goes down, Render down 2. And this is actually looking like a bit of a smug mid again. As Ran Sibling gets right in there, he does not get much, but Cookie's there to help clean up. Can Cookie and Oni win this?
Oni.
Cookie gets one, or Oni gets one, sorry. Cookie should get another one here too. It's Yui fighting. And Cookie's chasing him, and he's actually going to back up. But if he kept chasing, he could have fragged Yui, and he would have had Yuki all alone.
Well, he could have fragged Yui as well, but Yuki hit a really nice crossbow onto him, saving him. And now they can probably defend this, because Yuki was able to heal him to get that Uber as well. So really nice save there, actually.
He's got that Uber until he pops it on nothing again.
I think it might take him a little while to live this one down. I have a feeling people will remember this for a little while.
As long as I'm casting, he's not living anything down here either. Because that's half the fun of it, isn't it?
Jaiho!
Woo!
That's a really nice advantage there, picking off the Roma at this point. They've got a fairly solid opening to move into this point now.
I think he tapped Sam there too with a little love body shot. So he's working way in here. And now the bomb, Ran Sibling right in there. They do force the Uber at the exchange coming down here. Ran Sibling the only casualty. Sam going the other way. Cookies got flashed there, but he's still alive. this is now going to be the fight coming out of Alley here. And the double Yule is actually doing a really good job of just forcing that spam out here. But Yuki taken out as Render just decides to walk forward and say, I want to kill the Med. And Farrell's got a scout.
Oh, Yui! He's going to get another one. Huge play. He picks up Render as well. Oh my god.
And he gets the body shot by Jai. And Cookie's actually still alive here, and he's going to kill Yule.
This is
Cookie casually is on a 4K right now, so of all the impressive stuff that's happening, he's still rolling forward here.
Yeah, this is exactly what I hoped to see out of Metalworks. Just complete, I don't even know, just a complete mess of a game. Really entertaining one.
Hold on, Crits Creep. They are pushing out here, that is Yuki, but Farrella is building up Crits Creep here, and he's actually going to have that Crits advantage here. So I am very excited to see what they do with this, what they can do with this. If they stay back, oh, the push is actually going to come through Valley, which means that depending when this crits come up, that could actually just walk into, like, Death Valley, as it were, for crits. And Yuki's actually eating a ton of spam. And, oh, Jaiho going down. Walks into a rocket and then gets, like, double shot by
that
Scout.
was a terrible crit screen. It went off. Render got killed by a sticky trap straight away. That's over. Dream is dead for the wonderful crits. They kind of peeked into lobby trying to spot the Med, but they had barely any eyes on them and just got completely shut down. That's the problem with the crits. You don't have the invulnerability against those sticky traps.
Yeah, man. Color me disappointed. Well, they actually do still have crits though, because Farrell's alive, and now the bomb's coming in here. They're not gonna let him get it. I mean, they might. No, he's not. He's not gonna escape that time. The Uber comes out here. They are fragging all over.
Jesus, yeah,
and,
that was.
Yeah, Gossip Girl. Enough of that. You know, crits gimmick stuff. Is they're just gonna roll, and that goes down to Ransibling. Ransibling's still alive on 11 HP. Way behind here. I don't think he can do anything because they're just gonna cap last.
Yeah, that's 1-4. Look, I thought one thing I wanted to say before the game, didn't get a chance to just because it started before I thought it would. Metalworks not being played really actually gives a solid advantage to Smug, just because I'd rate Gossip Girl as a better team. I'm sure most people here would. And having an unknown map really is a good avenue for an upset, but it looks like Gossip Girl is still just as strong as ever.
And strong as ever, they move into this mid, which really hasn't been their strong suit. Give Smug credit on one thing. They've been winning quite a few of these mids here. And now the bomb's coming out here. Jersh and Nak go flying in there. They get kind of denied. Oni and Render down, though, is going to be a very good start to this mid. Zyko and Ransibling. So as I say, the mids...
Yeah, Caster's curse.
They crush it.
Absolutely Caster's curse there. Yeah, Gossip Girl had a spectacular mid, and they're still moving in. Getting some nice ground into second. They're going to try and find Farrell, but he is too far out. The spawns are coming in too. Maybe not actually, as Sam is getting some good ground. Farrell's kind of trapped here. He's on. He doesn't get it. He's on 98%. Sam, huge play. That's insane. Oh my god, that's...
Beef that time.
No, absolutely not.
Picks off Cookie as well. So this should be a 5-1. Is right here down 2, and now Ransibling Jersh gets taken out, but Jaiho's down. It's just Oni. They're going to Uber into him. He's got a caber out, I think, or no, that's a bottle. So now the demo man's just running at him, and he bottles him down, and they cap the point, and make that 5-1.
Yeah, that's just really unfortunate timing, but nice play from Sam, getting him when he did. Ferrisar was completely trapped out there. He had no way to connect to the rest of his team spawning, and yeah, just really nice play from Gossip Girl and Sam especially.
And we'll see what kind of a mid we got here. Smug coming out there. Oni eating another sticky early on in there, and he almost ate a second one, but I don't actually know how that didn't connect. It was just right on that wall. He should have taken more damage, but he didn't. But Ransibling does take damage from the scout mains on the field. And Yui going wild. They picked off Oni too. Sam and Yui down though. A couple of responses here. But Farrella means no heals, so they should be going hard for Yuki here. He is actually not in the best position, but he's running at Render, and he gets taken out. And I think I can think of one word for why they lost that mid, Gossip Girl. It's I think it's 5 letters. It starts with a T and ends with a W, and has an O sound in the middle. You know what I'm thinking of?
Actually, no. Throw. Okay, yeah, all right. I just had a mind blank. It's been a long day. Yeah, no. They just kind of didn't really coordinate well at all, and I think they also, you know, it's 3 minutes 13 left. I think that, you know, lack of coordination wasn't a real issue there. They just kind of didn't really care, you know. Thought, all right, let's just have some fun. 3 minutes to go. We're up 5-1. I really don't think they're going to lose this, and just looking for some sick plays.
It's borderline impossible, and Ransell's looking for that sick play gets taken up, but
Yuki
drops Feral.
Yuki's going for some more Uber saws. He actually gets taken down by Cookie's pistol there. But yeah, they're just going for the plays now. Yuki's going for the frags. I think, you know, players are trying to hit those sick air shots. It's just flash time now. See what you can pull out.
I think there's a term for this. I believe it's garbage time. My pronunciation might be off because I'm a North American guy and you guys say things funny. But I think you guys say it's garbage time.
Garbage.
And,
I'll go with it. I'm not gonna correct anything you say. Just say what you say, and I'll go with it.
All right, but yeah, we are getting into kind of the, you know, it doesn't really matter. 2 minutes, 4 rounds is pretty much an impossible task. They need to like wipe, cap, win, and have that happen all the way through. And Yui picks up Jaiho with a nice headshot. That's really gonna stun any kind of a push out here, as this is just garbage cam. He's just walking in there, and he's looking for Farala. He can't find him. But he's just and now Oni's down. We might see Mercy Rule actually
we very well could actually. There's a minute 46 left. It's absolutely enough time for Gossip Girl to finish this off, and I think they'd really like to. I mean, look, they're expected to win anyway, but just the momentum from getting that to that Mercy Rule is really, really nice. We've got oh my god, so much aggression from Sam. He's doing so much. They're just trying to run away. Pop the Uber to stop the cap. They've actually done it, but it's only Cookie and Feral are alive.
Well, and they step off the point, so they actually just recap it.
That's yeah, that doesn't really work.
And Feral taunts to die. He went down nobly. He was like it was like a Leo DiCaprio moment, standing at the front of Titanic. You know, he's got his like arms just way standing at the front. He's like, I'm here. I'm gonna take it, and he dies because he was screwed.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised to not see Gossip Girl pushing in there. They do have a minute to go though. Yuki is at 100%. I kind of thought they'd go with the player advantage, but I guess they just kind of wanted to hold up and wait and just basically ensure that they get to use this Uber, which they do. And it's a very, very aggressive Uber. Yui going down pretty early though. Ferala and Cookie going down as well. This should be fine though for Gossip Girl. They've got enough presence. They've got the point. Yeah, it really. They just picked the players close to the point, and the rest of the players on Smug weren't able to stop anything at all. So, really easy push.
The last thing I think we expected to see, like any of them, really happened on this map. We had a double drop, you know, where they dropped virtually simultaneously. We had a medic 3K on the last push. We had Metalworks for one.
And we had the classic accidental pop, which you really can't forget about. That was
this map had everything, even though it was a 6-1. Like
it was extraordinarily entertaining. That was the most entertaining Mercy Rule game I think I've ever had the pleasure of watching. It wasn't that much of a role. Like obviously 6-1 Mercy Rule, the dominance from Gossip Girl only really started in the last 10 minutes of the game. Smug had a really solid performance. I think it was the turning point for me while watching it was when Gossip Girl were up 3-1, Smug were pushing into second. They had Uber advantage, they had player advantage, and Yule picks up those 2 frags, hits one with a sticky trap, hits an air shot, and suddenly Smug can't push in, they get pushed back, they lose their Uber advantage, they lose plays, and they get pushed back. If Yule doesn't get those frags, Smug caps second, has a chance to cap last and take it to a 3-2, and that could have really put some momentum in their hands, but Yule really just shutting them down.
So one thing worth pointing out that I kind of hope, you know, from a medic supporter point of view, that doesn't happen is, you know, you dropped twice, Farala dropped once. Let's see if we can get those drop numbers lower. You know, that might help Farala if he didn't drop that one time. But you know, if do we count Yuki as having 2 drops, or do we give him a third one for popping on nothing?
That's as good as a drop for me. Look, I think that's more of a mistake than a drop. Like, you know, there's a drop when you drop Uber, there's pressure. Sometimes it's really really hard not to drop. Let's say you're taking like a rocket, a sticky, and a scattergun shot all at once, like in the exact same tick practically. It's really difficult. Sometimes you're just trying to milk it, like you know there's damage coming at you, and you're really just trying to milk it down. You're on 30 HP, and you just kind of miss, you miss dodge or whatever. There's lots of pressure. When you're holding last against nothing, and you just right-click. That's worse than a drop. I would count that as 2 drops personally. You know.
Well, then the drop game is 4-1 for Yuki if you're going by that logic. I'm not ready to say that, but you know,
I just want to.
I think they should lower it. They should lower it going into this. And one thing I do want to see them raise, while I'm talking about this whole raise and lower thing, is they look at Farrell, and he gave 9% of his heals to Cookie and 5% to Jaiho. So your 2 scouts are saying like a combined 14%, whereas the Roamer had 9. You know, maybe drop Render's heals a little bit. He's sitting almost up to that 40%. He's at 36, and just kind of give your scouts a little bit more, especially with Cookie. He was doing a lot of work with his heals when he got them. I just like to see him, you know, get some more, because you look over and, you know, Yui had a lot of heals and he was doing a lot of work relative to them. Comparatively to Sam had a good amount of heals and he was doing a ton of work. So the added heals towards the scout might be kind of like an X factor that, you know, Farrell might be able to juice his team a little bit more if they heal more.
Yeah, look, I agree that they should be changed around, but when it comes down to it, Smug, like, Render is he's an old school player who plays a very traditional pocket, soaks up those heals, tries to put out a ton of damage. He didn't have a particular, like, he had a solid game. I'm not gonna, you know, I'm looking at the damage stats, and he's pretty close to Jersh on the other side, but it wasn't a 40% of the heals kind of damage game. So maybe, like, I mean, yeah, Jersh had 28% to his. Oh, sorry, I misread. It was 36% for Render, but regardless, you know, that's still a full 8% more than Jersh, and for a bit less damage. Obviously, when you're losing, it's harder to do that much damage. But yeah, I think you're right. Just kind of maybe distribute those heals a little bit differently. Maybe give those scouts a bit more to work with. Should be all right. I'm looking at the damage though, and I'm pretty impressed by some of the players on Smug. I mean, Oni, he's sitting at 10k damage, Yule's at 11k. When you're behind as Demo, especially losing a 6-1, putting out that kind of damage is really quite impressive, I've got to say. And yeah, Render's fairly close with Jersh. But then once you get down to the scouts, that's kind of where the real big difference is. Yui and Sam doing 8k and 7.8k apiece, and then Cookie doing 7k, Ransibling doing 6.7k. So there is a solid difference between those scouts. And I think part of it is, I've noticed that the Smug scouts just seem to be dying earlier when they were pushing. They weren't necessarily prioritizing the lives / working around the scouts maybe in those post-Uber situations the way they should be. And the scouts were getting disconnected and just dying a lot earlier, so they weren't able to have that cleanup.
And if you do sort by damage here, like I look at it, Oni only died 17 times while putting out that good damage, which is really good of him, that even in a 6-1, he didn't die that much. But then you start going up that death list, and you know, you see 19 and 16 on the 2 scouts, and then you see Render, Ransibling, and Jaiho at 27 and 26 respectively. The fact that the Pocket and Roamer, and more to the point, Render, taking 36% heals, dying 27 times.
I can accept a Roamer dying 27 times in a game. That's not too alien, but a Pocket dying 27 times with, as you said, 36% of the heals, that's kind of a little bit iffy.
Maybe tap that S key, you know, maybe unbind W a little bit. That's really what I can think of, and you did see it a few times where he just kind of wandered a little bit too deep into a choke point, took a fight that he probably shouldn't have, and then his meta either had to pop on him or he died. And a lot of times he died. So I'd like to see him, you know, step back a little bit, maybe.
I think part of it did come down to just not knowing the map. Like, Yuki, obviously very experienced, watches a lot of TF2, plays a lot of TF2. He's played in ESEA as well before. He would be probably the most experienced player. I can't remember if he actually played Metalworks, but just due to the fact of how well he knows the scene, I'm sure he would be the best equipped to deal with the Metalworks pick. So his calling would have been, as you said, he was you know, he was pushing the right places, you know, on the maps, and
we're going live here, actually. Yeah. But my only point on Yuki, the only thing that I truly remember from his season was he's in the video where Mustard Overlord spawn camps his own spawn.
That's a classic.
It is a classic. And I see you, Mustard Overlord. Hi there. Love you. You're a big fan. But it's a class. As we get into this first mid here, those demos doing some damage across the point. No one's too lit here. This is being a fairly passive mid out of both teams. We do see a little bit more ground being taken by Gossip Girl. And now Smug backing up here. They pick off Sam, but the health is not good on them. They're all bunched together. They actually pick off Nat as well. So now they're starting to move forward. Even though they don't really have the health here, the heals are starting to come through, though. So they will win this mid.
That was one sticky from Oni. Lots of players on Smug were so low. They had like 3 players in the red, but Oni hit a perfect sticky on both the scouts of Gossip Girl, and suddenly they couldn't commit. They couldn't do anything. We've actually got a really huge Uber exchange. Massive air shot hit from Josh. Did you see that? That was insane. He was on an Ubered player, but still kind of ridiculous. Nothing actually really happened though with that Uber. No frags exchanged.
Yeah, we're gonna have a little bit of a reset here, and actually Yuki's very hurt here with the right amount of spam. They might get him. No, he's gonna escape safely. But alas, that's
yeah, that was a bit surprising that Uber push. No one really died.
Jaiho died somewhere there. And now Oni's very hurt here as this push is coming forward here. They're just pushing on virtually nothing, and they get Farrell and Render. That's Yule doing work again. He picks off Oni. Yule going wild. Cookie is in there, and they're getting right in on Yuki. Your sibling's not gonna get him.
Yeah, like that was just really nice push. I think Smug really let them in there. They didn't spam them out of choke nearly as much as they should. Allowed Yule to get through, allowed Yuki to get through, allowed Jersh to get through as well. And they just took perfect advantage of it. They just did so much damage on the retreating players that they couldn't really contest mid anymore and died while retreating.
And now we have Cookie sniping defensively. He's trying to work on that Uber. Rent's sibling is on heavy too, which means that they get to keep Jaiho up on that scout. We're not seeing the full bus park, but Jersh, on the other hand, is also a fat Russian man coming in on the offensive heavy. I love this play, I will say.
Yeah, we do have Cookie on Sniper. So, you know, generally speaking, Sniper trumps heavy, but not when the Uber comes out this quickly.
Well, not if they pick off Render immediately too. Cookie is back on scout, which means that this heavy doesn't have to worry about the sniper, and he's just spamming those bullets across the point, doing some damage here. And he gonna pick off Cookie. He picks off Jaiho. He picks off Oni. Church, the big heavy 3K.
Yeah, that was I'm not really sure what Smug were really going for with that hold. They saw the heavy there. They went, all right, we got to kill this heavy. And I think I saw there was like 4 or 5 seconds where all of their players were looking at the heavy and doing next to no damage to him, while the scouts from Gossip Girl were all over their backlines. So just, I guess, not really communicating as well as they should have been there.
Very nice rollout from Oni there. He hits a nice surf through choke. Actually lands right on the pack. Almost like a Cadis rollout there. But he's, you know, not doing a ton off of it. Throwing some spam around here. And they're just playing around here. They actually pick off Nat deep from behind. That's Rand sibling, but they gave up so much position to get that as Render goes down. And they do pick up Yui. Jaiho should go down here, though, to Sam. Unless he can hit some miracle shots here.
Oh, Josh!
They're staying in here.
Oh, my God!
And, wow.
Look,
wow.
That was actually massive. It's not over, though. Oni doing a fair bit of damage.
Oni and Jaiho, it's just Yuki. Can Yuki get himself a 3K? Oh, he actually gets Uber, and that comes through choke. Oh, perfect timing. And now, actually,
oh, wow. Ferrazar didn't have to pop there. That's massive. There was a... Look, I thought... look, Smug were in a really good position there. They had Jersh being aggressed by, I believe it was Jaiho. And I thought, you know, with that scout on the flank, they're going to be able to pretty much wrap around the Gossip Girl side. And then Jersh hits a really nice air shot onto the scout, really buying some time for his team, buying some time to get that Uber up. But they just couldn't get enough done with it. They couldn't manage to force Ferrazar there.
And speaking of trying to force him, they get right in on him. He almost eats that rocket directly. That would have dropped him, but he lives with 30 HP. And this is actually pretty dangerous territory for him here because, you know, one errant spam rocket. He's actually up to 80 now. He'll be fine. But, you know, if there was a sniper little peek the wrong way, would have gotten enough to drop him. Now they're just going to pop right in here. They pick off Oni coming in, though. So no Demo Man on this push isn't going to be helpful.
Oh, God.
And now they don't even get the heavy. Jersh swaps off in time, and the Uber comes out the other way. This is going to turn into a massacre. As he was rolling straight through there, he's actually backing up as they realize that Render's up behind them there. And he picks off Jersh. Can he get Yui? No, he gets taken out, but that's enough to kind of delay it here. The spawns are going to come in, and there might be a second defense coming in here. Uber advantage is in Farrell's hand. They're doing what they can. Jumps are coming forward. They're trying to stop this for all they can, but they might drop Rand sibling. They got to be super careful here. And just throwing some shots around here. Yule might actually get caught here. Yui's taking a little bit of damage there too. Jaiho doing work.
Oh no.
Oni taken out by Sam on the other side. Should stunt this maybe. position is so much. And what a rocket from Ransel, they're cranking out Jersh. That should actually maintain second for them.
I'm quite surprised they managed to hold on. I mean, it's really hard to push this without a demo up, and losing a demo as early as they did was really difficult. But with him dying when he did, they got the Uber, but they weren't able to use it. Now it's a even Uber play here, so you'd be interested to see how they try to push this.
And it looks like they're pushing it lobby side. I wonder if they realize, oh, they're just gonna throw Cookie in there, and he's trying to kill Yui, and he can't.
Oh, and Sam! Oh my gosh, those days on Harvest Sniper only really paying off for him there.
Yeah, that was an incredible shot. Getting a nice little pick there, and that's actually going to absolutely cripple this defense here of second, so they have to fully give it up. You know, you drop a scout, you might hold it. Dropping two, though, there's no way. And now they have to play way back mid here and try and let Cookie do his thing. He's actually peeking into IT. He's going to get taken out there.
Oh,
Goodbye, Cookie.
You have to have that soldier there just to hopefully stop any scout aggression. Oh god, Yui with the surf. Nearly got air shot. You're getting destroyed on the backline. That's massive here. Render picking up another one of
Yuki's dropping everybody.
Yeah, that was not a particularly good Uber there.
And he drops another scout in this too. Yuki just... the rock, I'll be honest. Like the Dwayne Johnson sitting in the middle of mid was enough to kind of screw Yuki there. He got separated on one side from his soldier and then on the other side from his demo and couldn't heal anybody. As Jaiho rolls forward here and picks off Nat.
That's a really nice late pick. That's a really nice late pick.
But as you say, it's super late.
It's not going to be enough though. Like he's spawning in 5 seconds. If Parasite doesn't have that,
that's gonna be enough. Yule getting Oni and Jaiho with one little trap.
Oh my gosh!
You gotta check that. You gotta check that.
That's really bad now. Oni, having a demo down and a scout down. This is they have to give up second now. They have the Uber advantage, but Oni and Jaiho spawning in 3 seconds is that they might actually not be able to push until Yuki has Uber. But Yuki's 30% away. They might be able to move in time if they move in right now, which I really hope they do, but they're kind of delaying it a bit. They're not really moving in as quick as they need to. I think, yeah, Yuki's going to get this.
You gotta check that.
You really do.
I'm still just caught up.
That's like, just disappointing, honestly.
Yeah. Grant Sibling bombing right in here. Doesn't manage to do much. Sucks for him. Countersack should come out, or maybe they'll just push. It looks like they're going to push. I wasn't sure if they wanted to go for like the full countersack shebang, They're pushing in here. They pop the Uber off really early, which means this is going to be better for Fairlaw as he pops right back in here with Render. Cookie's waiting in the wings to try and, turn this into something more. And he's now got that flash.
Oh, he nearly gets out from behind. But,
he wasn't going to get out there. And Cookie's just rolling in there, and he gets piped down by Yule. But the soldier, what a pipe!
The airshot combination! No way! Did that just... Oh,
the bottle! Oni! Oh, Yule gets the bottle on the other side, and Jaiho kills. Yeah.
I'm speechless. This is it's beyond clowny. That was a double, a combination air shot, demo and medic, then the bottle, and then the counter bottle. This is one of the most entertaining series I've seen in so long.
This is my calling for Beater or any any frag video maker. Can you just make a frag video of this match alone, the process and Metalworks portion? There's enough for a good movie there. As the push is coming out here, and we're gonna see if we get some more highlight reel stuff coming in. As Sam's just rolling forward with this team. It looks like Smug is just gonna back up as they are still down. Rand Sibling. They dropped Jaiho. They actually dropped Render here.
Oh no.
And Jaiho. That means that the wave of gossip is going to push in here, and they're waving right in there. They drop up.
Nat with a massive bomb. The sync rockets came out perfectly, and that's a wipe. They all go down. I was gonna say they're not in a bad position. They have Uber. They're down 2 players, but they could probably hold on to this. And then Nat with the perfect bomb. Verisar dropping to the synced rockets. Oh my god. Yeah, not much you can do. Now they're pulling out the Prolander. They got the sniper. They got the engineer. Demo and Scout coming up in just a second, but they're going to be going up against Yuki's Uber. Yuki, the Sentry won't even get to level 3 before they push in. This is going to be so tough.
It'll be tough, but they've done a fairly good job of kiting it. They haven't dropped anyone, and they actually really light up Yui. A little bit of spam might catch him. No, he's going to get healed up here. But Nat is the only casualty. Somehow, and Yule goes down here too. Ransibling trades out with Sam, but this is looking so good. What a hold here. Jer's the only one.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Yuki's not going to get out either, I think.
Escaping.
I don't think he is. Yes,
He
Render.
will not.
What a nice
What
rocket,
a
just
hold.
finishing him off. That was a spectacular hold. Just really nice kiting that Uber. That level 1 sentry, it didn't do much, it didn't do any damage, but what it did was just waste their time. It took a little bit of time trying to figure it out. There were two players here in IT, I just want to point out. One scout going for the back cap, actually. They're going to have to come back to defend this, because I think the soldier's coming for this too, probably with the pain train. No, just the times
stack,
3.
They're gonna get mid. Yeah, they do. They made the right play. They went for the right stack of it, and they actually pick up Yule here. They drop Render, but you know he'll trade out for Jersh in the end, so that's fine. And Yui actually so lit gets taken out there too. Yuki is alone right now trying to do there are two people in behind, and he gets right in on them and he forces them. And there's still the scout there. That's Sam. They shouldn't let Sam. They're letting Sam out. Okay, they're just gonna roll into last with it. And now it's on to Cook. He wins the 1v1. They get so much time on this point, and they will cap.
Really, really nice play from Smug. They knew exactly how many people, like they knew that they were going to win that cap time battle. Like they knew that they had ×5 on mid caps, pretty much the same as second, I believe, on this map. So they were ahead. They knew that wasn't going to be an issue. They just played it absolutely perfectly.
Coast to coast, Smug goes as they win that round. And we're going to see what they can bring in here as they coast into mid. They're going on this right-hand side here, just throwing some rockets around, but a big bomb from Nat might catch Demo Man here. Just comes in behind, and he airshots Render. Nice rocket from him there as they keep fighting down here. Brand Sibling and Oni taken out, though. This should be a Gossip Girl mid, and they might catch Feral out here. No, he's going to back out with Jaiho and Cookie as the two scout mains are here to save his medic, and Cookie's just throwing himself. He actually kills Sam. He might actually be able to keep rolling forward here because he's got that scout game that he can just walk in and say, hey, I'm just gonna meat shot you.
That was a really nice play. That's gonna completely delay the push now for Gossip Girl. They had a solid advantage there. They could have kind of moved through this choke, but picking up that frag, you know, really nice GM there from Cookie.
And now we actually have Rin Sibling. He's oh no, he gets spotted out. I was gonna say he might get through IT fairly free, but he might actually lose his life. Went from free to being a pick, and now that's a pick in the advantage of the push here. Oni is very forward here in sewers too, so he actually dies to the trap. They dropped Nat going into this, but this is not looking good if you're a fan of the Smug hold, and that's looking worse if Farala drops and they wipe.
Yeah, that is a really, really nice push there. I mean, dropping Ferrisar, I think that's his, what, second drop this match so far, third drop for the series. Rand's actually hitting a nice rocket, but it's not going to be enough, I don't think. Forcing out the Uber now, Oni is the only one alive. They got a couple of spawns in a second, but it just doesn't matter when you've got this many players moving onto the point. But yeah, I mean, Ferrisar, look, that's the second Uber dropped this map. I think, yeah, was just the one on the first map from Ferrisar, or was it two?
He had just one on that first map. It was Yuki bringing the two in.
That's right, yeah. So, but
and we see, hold on, we see Oni. He misses the pogo and takes so much damage going in. He might get himself caught. Actually, he gets the pack, and there was a fast rollout from a soldier. He could have been very screwed there, as they are still working this mid fight. Nat taking a ton of damage early here, and now the bomb's coming out. Render goes down. Cookie goes down. This is another Gossip Girl mid, unless Rand Sibling can keep working off that Yule pick he had. Sam gets Jaiho, and he's right in there. He's not going to beef on Farala this time, and, you know, Yuki lives.
Yeah, like, just better positioning across the board from Gossip Girl, able to collapse onto the Smug players when they needed to. There's not, I guess, there's not much to say about that mid, they just executed better.
Do we have a pause?
I think we do have a pause. So look,
okay.
I just want to say, it's 15 minutes left to go. We're only halfway through the map. It's 2-1 right now for Gossip Girl. They have a really solid advantage here. They could, you know, it's definitely not a far-fetched thought for them to be 3-1 in 45 seconds time. But Smug definitely in this. They've been fighting really, really well. I mean, that last round, the last round that Smug won, that was like back, forth, back, forth, back, forth. There's definitely been pretty much nothing in this game so far. I think maybe you could say Gossip Girl have been better on the mids, but really both of these teams just absolutely neck and neck at this point in the game.
Yeah, this is, you know, maybe the joke of Metalworks. Do we know whose pick that was by offhand? Was that Smug throwing, or was that Gossip Girl throwing?
I believe this is Smug's pick. It was Gossip Girl who picked Metalworks, you know, as a joke, and what turned out to be not a particularly funny joke when they realized what they'd actually signed themselves up for. It ended up working quite well for them, as we saw. Look, 6-1 scoreline, closer than the scoreline would suggest, but still definitely strong enough from Gossip Girl. Smug, yeah, looking to be using their pick a lot better than the first map.
Well, I look to see what we come out of here. Do you think this is do you think there are technical issues? Are we gonna have the famous, I think, TSM tactical timeout, where they throw their tactical timeout up and then go on a massive comeback?
I'll just have a quick peek at the players in the server to see if they've got 12 in or if someone dropped. I'm not too sure.
Depending how long the pause was, we might not be able to see that, but it is definitely worth a shot.
Right now, there's a full 12 players in, as in this time. Right now, obviously, being in the SCD with 9 seconds and behind them, but when it gets unpaused, regardless of the time, we will be unpaused at the same time. So I'm hoping it'll be soon, unless it is some kind of technical, some kind of like maybe ping-based thing. They're just trying to wait it out, or maybe someone really had to go to the bathroom, or maybe someone's dog fell down the stairs. I know that's a pretty common one. So.
Oh, poor puppy.
Yeah, so we'll see. I'm hoping it won't be too long.
What would be interesting in terms of connection issues, players dropping, Yuki will come out of this with roughly full Uber advantage unless it's him with the issues. Now that is worth noting, because if Yuki's the one having issues, if anyone decided to be an asshole and DDoS them, it's not Yuki.
We're live.
It doesn't look like it's anybody. We're back.
Well, we'll find out in about 90 seconds time who it was. Chat will come up. I wouldn't be surprised to see some Prolander stuff happening now for the blue side again. They do have a sniper. Yep, sniper, engineer, one of each class. No heavy. Deciding that just need the mobility. Can't have a third class without they can't really move around. Cookie looking to try and get a pick here. Should hopefully be able with any luck find something. The sentry is there we go. Nice shot onto Yui actually.
So Cookie gets Yui and we have a sniper, heavy, and Engie. This is like bust park. I call this the pizza gun hold, and they're doing it, but the gun gets upgraded at the worst time.
That's
as they pick up
that's
Cookie
a mistake. That's a big mistake.
And it's a very good thing they still have the heavy alive, because that's at least something to try and do to deal with this push in here. And he's doing a ton of work, not just dealing with it. They do drop Render here. Rand Sibling very hurt. Is the heavy going to be enough? I don't think so. He's picking up one. He gets taken out there too, and now it's just the medic. And
that was
okay.
Perfect execution from Gossip Girl. They got the player advantage they needed to with the Uber to be able to then fight for that post-Uber situation. They knew that there was no mobility out on that Smug side. So they just surrounded them. There was kind of like a semicircle of death, just spamming the heavy down for as long as they needed to before they could actually start killing him.
And Oni is actually taking a very aggressive fight here with Yule, and that's going to cost them as Nat comes in here, takes him, and Yule with the sneaky snipe to clean him up, and well, they're going to still fight this. I was going to say, though, that, okay, do you want to explain to me what just happened?
Yeah, it was Yuki with the issue. Well, Yuki timed out there. That was when the pause happened. Okay. He's back in now, but that's awful for Gossip Girl losing that potential advantage they had.
Hold on, Nat's right in there on Paralyzed, juking around. Can he escape? He's so hurt.
No!
He gets, oh my lord, a rocket 3K
I thought
there.
surely not. Surely he's not going to leave. And Sam flying around that corner, finishing off Oni as well. Yeah, I was thinking surely he's not going to survive. We've seen too many medics. Like I'm all for a good medic escape, but it kind of gets to the point where you got to go just hit your shots. And looks like they kind of fixed themselves up. And Ferrisar actually. Oh, they were spawn camping. Of course, they had the forward spawn. Ferrisar actually going down inside forward spawn there. That is absolutely devastating. That could really easily take this to a 4-1.
Yeah, the reason I asked what was happening is I was so confused where Gossip Girl got the one pick on mid. They got the demo and then backed out. And that Yuki problems would explain that. They do pick off Sam here. That is smug defensively, but the Uber is going to come out here. It's a gun that once again gets upgraded right when they push in. It will delay it just enough. Render on the other side here is dancing around. He's gonna get that rocket misses
as
from
well.
That. Ooh, but Rand Sibling and Render down. No soldiers now, but it is the heavy, and they are still fighting
this
here.
The
demo's
situation.
up behind though. The demo is up behind, just dealing damage, and he's now dealing pipes into Faralot too.
That was literally the exact same situation as the last push. It ended with 3 players, a medic, heavy, and +1. exactly the same play by Gossip Girl, just surrounding them, spamming them down, and then pushing in when they're low enough. Just really, again, well executed.
I keep getting baited. I keep thinking this is gonna be like a close last hold, and it's just not. And I'm like, stop baiting me! But no, we're gonna see another mid fight where I'm not getting baited. Is Oni taken out again super early by Nat, which, you know, not ideal here if you are a Smug fan. But they are still gonna be fighting this mid. They're doing what they can here. Jersh, so lit, ran sibling right in there. He goes for the hero air shot on Yule, whereas he probably could have gotten a frag if he shot anybody else.
There were
But
three
Cookie
players.
gets Jersh, Cook, and Jaiho gets Yuki. So they will, you know, be even Ubers here as we move forward. But
yeah, that was a misplay there by the bombing soldier. There were 3 players there on sub 100 HP, so anyone could have died to one rocket. He goes for the one player that's in the air and, you know, gives up what would have been a free frag on the medic, honestly.
Yuki crits, Yuki crits, Yuki crits.
Oh! Yeah, well, it's 4-1. They've got the advantage. This is an absolutely fine time to use Chris. Just try and press it forward. Both medics died at the same time.
Not to mention, the spawn waves were actually different. While they died at the same time, Yuki got about a 4-second spawn earlier, and he spawned with someone. So he had about a 20% crits advantage going into the fact that he already has a crits advantage because crits builds faster than Uber. So this is, like, big advantage in
We
terms
do
of
have
crits here.
Jiho on Sniper, though, and as we know from last game, you don't get that invulnerability when you're on crits. So Jiho could potentially shut this down really quickly if they get eyes on them early enough.
It all comes down to that first stick. Yui goes down.
We're about to see it.
Or
Oh,
Yuki's gonna drop the cookie.
Oh.
I mean, you can't fault the guy for dropping crits because, I mean, what are you gonna do if you pop it? Nothing. Like, it doesn't matter. But, oh, Sam getting right in there on Feral. The demo's just capping the point, and they force Uber out here. So this is really
nice
good.
force.
I wonder if Yuki's going to come back up on crits.
He
No,
could.
He's up on
he
Uber.
Could.
He's
No,
up on
okay.
Uber.
Yeah, look, really nice force there from the Gossip Girl squad, but just perfect cleanup from Smug. Able to finish off every single player on that last point, which gives them enough room to be able to move out. And now we're sitting on even Ubers. But time is slowly starting to run out. Like I said before, at 15 minutes, it was like, what, 2-1? And they really had a chance. 10 minutes ago and 3 rounds down is a bit of a different story. They kind of need to start moving in the near future to be able to actually bring this back to even. Or ahead.
Yeah, you're looking at like 330 or 320 around here to try and, you know, take 3 rounds. It's not impossible, but they gotta start winning these team fights and winning them heavily. Dropping Jaiho, okay, they don't drop him. They actually pick off Yui, so this is looking better. I was about to say that they might be dropping Jaiho there, but yeah, they turn it around, and now they're gonna start to move forward here. But it is even Ubers here. Bombs are getting in here. I think they just want to force Yuki and try and get out, but they're actually very committed. And they dropped Cookie on that one because of it. They're a little over-committed. They're a little overzealous after they got the force out. And the exchange is bad here, and Oni gets a nice flash, but that might not be enough to save him. Josh goes down, Ren Sibling, and Render down. Ooh, this is not looking good if you're a Smug fan. As the big bomb from Oni is going to come in here. They're trying to just catch him. They're doing everything they can. And
Oni.
Sam, nice pipe from Oni, but there's Cookie there to support him too, so
yeah. I just want to
he's
say,
gonna get out.
Josh had a really nice Uber there. Look, it was nothing really happened for the first few seconds of that Uber. At the very tail end, he jumped over the other team's pocket to finish off a scout, and then cut off the pocket in sewer, I believe. So, just really nice play, basically giving his team a 2-for-1 and a lot of map control at the end of that Uber.
And we do have a little bit even Ubers here, not enough to push off of if you're a Smug fan, but they might. They're actually fairly forward here for considering what the Ubers are. I think they hear that call, so they should know this. But the sniper is sitting shutter. If Yuki's so close there, if the shutter door opens, no, he backs off right as it does. He would have had a shot on Yuki. That is Jaiho sniping, but alas, it is not a case.
Yeah, this is really important right now. I mean, it's 7 minutes 56 to go. Yuki, oh, here we go. Here comes the Uber, really nice and early. Both Ubers have been traded, nothing happening yet, just forcing each other to waste some time in that rollout area. He's Pockets exchanging rockets, but
Jaiho gets Jersh.
That was really, really big pick, and now Rancidling's got enough room to be able to go finish off the other Roma. Picked up by Yui. Yui goes down to Cookie as well. It's only 3 players left alive for the Gossip Girl squad, and they're going to be backing straight out of here. Lots of aggression onto Yule, but Cookie should go down now. Surely he's going to go down.
Forward spawns
there we
too.
go.
So with, you know, there's a little bit more of a defense on mid here, and then they get another forward spawn. That's Nat. And I wonder at this point, is Yuki just saying, hey, let's just chew the clock. Let's see how much time we can wind down here and like make this really impossible for. And Jersh getting Oni is definitely gonna help that as they're repushing this. Like no one really stopped them from going in as Renner gets taken out. Ransibling should die here too. And they might actually just take this round out of the clutches and they drop Jaiho. They do lose Yule, but it's 2 up versus 4 as this cap is gonna go down here. Uber's slight advantage once again for Yuki. And there's rolling in
taking
here.
a lot of damage though. He could die. Oh,
the spam rockets are so close. And I think they might actually do this.
Yeah,
he doesn't have it. He's dead. This is going to be round as the scout is just going to cap it down. And now we are legitimately at the impossible point.
Yeah,
I don't think. 4 rounds, 6 minutes.
You probably, I'm trying to think, in theory you could do it if you had a minute 30, like roll mid to end, mid to end, mid to end, mid to end.
We just need to see like a ton of coordination come out of Smug that we haven't quite seen yet. Oni hitting the fast rollout and getting the pack and being totally okay is a good start to this, but he is all alone on the right-hand side and now he eats a pile of crap and he's down to 5 HP. This is not looking good again, but the spam coming up top, they do pick up Sam, they pick up Yule, they pick up Church, they drop Render, and they now drop Rand Sibling and they drop Oni, but Oni does pick off Yui, and Yuki and Nat go down to Jaiho and Cookie, so they're bringing it back here.
They won a mid,
and
it was enough of a mid win that they could bring this back. Oh my god! But they needed to sack that point straight away. Cookie actually dropped down. That's a solid 2 seconds wasted. And when you're at this point, 2 seconds is a lot of time to waste. You need to be absolutely perfect with your movements here. They need to be moving in as soon as they can. And I mean, I feel like they're just waiting around with their soldiers. I know you need your classes to come in, but I really feel like they could have gone there faster. And now this might, they're going to push into the last now, but it could be, they need to push this perfectly. It's going to be so hard against the heavy, the level 3 sentry, 2 soldiers demo, lots of spam coming out. This is going to be a really tough push.
And the Uber is in there, jumps right into a heavy, and now the okay, he got levitated. I love it when that happens. It's one of the most satisfying feelings when you launch a guy sky high, but they're putting time on this point, but they're not getting much with it as they drop everybody. Farala will die. And that's a hold.
Yeah, that's the death sentence. That's it.
We get to the point of no return. I want to point out a few things. I ran a poll on Twitter. Huge shout out to any of the viewers that voted in that. And it, you know, I asked who was going to win the entire tournament. I had 67% of the turnout say Jasmine T. 22 said Gossip Girl, 11% said Smug. However, that is not reflected in the scrap.tf, or saloon.tf, sorry, wrong Geo website ratings. We're at 90% on Smug. So
yeah,
rip skins as Gossip Girl is moving in here and picking up more people.
I'm not a betting person, but 90% on Smug absolutely would have if I wasn't casting this game, because that's quite really, really good odds for Gossip Girl, as they were the expected team to win this.
Yeah, and I mean, you'd think if I'd call uninformed betters maybe, but you'd think if like the fact that Yuki there's that big news story that Yuki's on Gossip Girl, that like that would have swayed the uninformed voter or bitter gambler.
Yeah,
I
would have assumed so as well. I just don't really have an explanation for that. Look, it's a bit, Nat picking up Oni, demo dead, Ferrisar's got 80% Uber. This is going to be a hard hold. Like, they will be able to push out though, it seems. I'm kind of surprised they're going for this. I guess they want to try and get whatever they can off the board, and they're actually doing a pretty good job of this. Yule, Nat, and Jersh all going down. Rand Sibling and Cookie doing a lot of work, and they'll be able to cap up the second point. So, managed to fend off that Mercy rule for now. So, hopefully they'll be able to fend it off for longer. I'd like to, like, it's not a particularly close game, this one. It kind of went the same way as the last one, where they just kind of lost the plot in the last 12 minutes or so. But, yeah, I'd like to see them be able to hold on for the last couple of minutes so that Mercy rule doesn't come into play.
And they're doing their best to do it. They're exchanging these Ubers here on mid. They're just throwing some shots around. Jersh is the casualty. They're bombing hard into this choke point. They're trying to get what they can. Smug wants to make it a 5-2 here. They're doing everything in their power, but they're not getting.
slowly doing it, and picking up Jersh was actually a really nice job. Pocket down, it should allow them to come through this choke, but they're taking so long and taking so much damage. Rand Sibling got sent flying. They're losing Ferrelar as well. Render does finish off Yui with the shotgun, but will it be enough? Jaiho picking up Yule, but he goes down to Sam's scattergun. This is not looking good now for the Smug side. Cooking going down as well. They just took so long on that choke. They just kind of stood there. 8 spam from Yule, 8 spam from, I believe it was Nat. Like, I just don't really know why they didn't just move straight in.
Yeah, I think it's time to, like, you know, if you got, like, I don't know, you get your, like, funeral procession kind of thing going in here, and, you know, maybe when I die, I can have Smug at my funeral, like, carry my casket so they can let me down one more time, or, like, I don't know.
Look, I don't want to say, I don't want to go as far as to say let us down, because it was a bit of a roll both ways in terms of scoreline, but holy crap, have there been some really exciting plays this
this
match.
has been one of, I don't think I've ever casted, like, back-to-back roll score lines and had this much fun.
Rand Sibling going down. I saw that. The problem is, who was it? Who hit it? The classic TF2 kill system. Really not letting us see who won that, and that's actually 6-1 off the back of that push. I believe, look, it was just a nice push in from the Gossip Girl side, frags from the demo scouts, just clean push, and yeah, but I mean at that point it was over already. I don't think Smug were particularly invested in the game at that point. And I just want to say to everyone watching, this isn't over. Tonight is by no means over. Coming up very soon will be now the winners of this match, Gossip Girl, against the upper bracket finalists, Jasmine T. And that is going to be one hell of a game.
That. Before we go there, I do want to point out, just look at some statistical stuff, do some statistical analysis. You know, I've got a college class in that. I don't really, please don't ask me hard questions. But we'll bring up the logs and look at some stats. And what stands out to me is, again, Sam and Yui just getting, you know, 26 kills, not really dying. I look on the other side, I see Rand Sibling, Oni, and Renderer, and Cookie all over 20 deaths, whereas the only person on Gossip Girl that was Jersh. And then damage-wise, nobody broke 300, with the exception of Yule.
Yule had a monstrous game.
DPM.
Absolutely monstrous game. Like he played so well. He did so much work. Every push I watched, every time, every hold, he was just pumping out the spam. He was softening so many people up, making it so difficult for the blue side Smug to actually push in anywhere, just because anytime they tried, they were met by like 3-4 stickies from Yule before they actually made any moves. So Yule just completely shutting down pretty much any enemy movement. And I just want to say, clearly Smug did not listen to us, actually giving Render an extra % of heals over last map.
Ooh, that's a mistake. You listen when Dreamboat tells... No, you don't. Please, never listen to him. Listen to Smithsonian, though. That got no stuff. Or Smashsonian, as his Twitter claims him to be. No, it was... again, as I said, like, this was an incredible match. A lot of high-powered performances from players on both teams, you know, both statistically, and then incredible plays. Great moments as Farrell drops in post-game. I just have to point out drops.
I watched that too.
Yeah. You hear the sound and you're like, oh, poor Medic. Even though it doesn't even matter, you just think, oh.
It's simultaneously the most satisfying and one of the worst sounds you can hear in TF2, just depending on the context. I just want to point out, you mentioned Smashsonian. It was actually Ferrelar who coined that moniker, so you know, thanks to him for that. Didn't really, you know, nothing really helped him out tonight. He didn't have a bad game, I wouldn't say, in terms of like how he played overall. Just a couple of moments that really let him down.
Yeah, that is so
true. Just a couple of drops in the middle of this map that really turned the tide on things. Like, as I said, it was a story of both maps where Smug had a really strong first 15 minutes or so, and then they just kind of lost the plot. And I think part of that was just mistakes in the mid game, where things are tight, and that comes down to stuff like that, just drops that you make when you're holding last or trying to push in or whatever. We can really turn the tide of this and ruin your momentum.
Now, Smug made mistakes, sure. Gossip Girl played fantastic. They played very, very well together, and now we do see them. They're moving forward here. They get to play Jasmine T. And we do have, unfortunately, you know, for fans of me and Smiths, we're not the ones casting it. I honestly, at this point, feel like I could go for another 5 maps, but instead, we're handing it over to Fosm and Ton, who are fantastic casters. They're a great duo, and we actually have them here with us. So why don't we, you know, Foz, Ton, say hi, and let's talk about what we can expect going into this next best of 5 now, as Jasmine will take on Gossip Girl.
Well, thank you, Dreamboat. That flattery was just all too much. I'm blushing here like a tomato. Yeah, I'm Foslim. I'll be joining on the mic tonight by Tundri for the grand final. We're gonna be seeing Jasmine T versus Gossip Girls. Should hopefully be a good game. I mean, the last time these two teams met was the final round of the upper bracket playoffs, where Jasmine T took it fairly convincingly. I believe it was a 6-2, 6-1. 2-0 map roll in their favor. So hopefully we're not going to see anything like that this afternoon. I mean, at the bare minimum, we're going to see 3 maps, which is fantastic. The more TF2, the better, but I'd like to see this go all the way to 5 maps.
Yeah, like, that was, the last, well, they played each other twice in recent history. As you said, there was that upper bracket game where Jasmine T did pretty much roll through them. They had a much closer game a little while ago in one of the spring series. Note though that Termo was playing demo then, so a little bit different. Obviously, you know, he's well regarded as the strongest demo in Australia. Some regarded him as the strongest demo in the world at I-52. He was really, really good. So not going to be as strong then, but I don't want anyone to be put off by the scoreline of the last game between these two, because Gossip Girl clearly has some strong players, and even without Termo, could absolutely, you know, if they bring their A game, can definitely, hopefully bring a tight game.
Now, you mentioned I-52. I-55, I didn't see any Aussie presence, but I-58, that's this August. And, I mean, I'm hearing stuff. I'm hearing these whispers about some Australian teams showing up. And one of them, you know, I heard Jasmine T. Correct me if I'm wrong. They're, you know, rumored to be going. It's just a rumor, of course, but do we know anything about that?
It's a rumor with a fairly bit of substantial weight behind it. I mean, you know, Smith, you mentioned earlier about the Razor Spring Series tournament, I believe it was called. You know, we interviewed Brute for that, and he said, you know, his team was really motivated to going, and they said they were going to, you know, do all they can to attend. So I'd say it's a bit more than you know, whispers in the wind at this point. Like, nothing's been solidified, but I'd say this is something that's looking quite likely.
I'd call it a wet cement, yes. It's looking really likely, and the intention is there. It just needs to solidify before we can definitely say yes. We need people to, you know, book their flights and sort that stuff out before we can say yes. But at this point, from everything I've heard from Brute, stuff he said in interviews and stuff he said on TFTV, it's looking really quite likely.
I know that feeling of everything's almost set in stone. That's actually about where I sit on my plans to go to I-58. But it should be exciting. I look forward to it. It sounds like we're gonna have the Asians there now. We're gonna have the Aussies. Of course, we're gonna have Americans. Like, that's, you know, our thing. We always send a team or two, and then to have the Europeans. This is going to be like 4 continental of a LAN, which, you know, I haven't really gotten a chance to see Jasmine because, I mean, I sleep. I am a Canadian who sleeps. So I'm really excited to see them coming into this next map, as, you know, they're going to be your representation potentially for I-58.
Yeah,
Why don't you guys